From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the Hourly News Blast. In our first story, LGBTQ Nation is reporting when a hidden camera captured 56-year-old Frank Hobbs Jr. stealing a woman's pro-LGBTQ plus yard signs last June. The New Hampshire man claimed that municipal officials in Goffstown had given him permission to remove pedophile symbols, but now he's being charged with violating state civil rights laws and could face thousands in fines. Hobbs was recorded removing a pro-LGBTQ plus sign from a town intersection and placing it in his car in June 2024. The woman set up the camera after one of her Goffstown Pride signs went missing. When asked about the sign theft, Hobbs denied knowing anything about it, but when police informed him of the incriminating video footage, he said that he found the signs personally offensive and claimed that the city officials told him he could remove signs that displayed pedophile symbols. Hobbs, right-wing politicians, and Christian conservatives have repeatedly claimed that LGBTQ plus people and their allies are groomers who wish to sexualize and sexually abuse children. These claims encourage acts of violence and vandalism against queer people and their friends. Local law enforcement said Hobbs was easily recognizable in the video because he's, well known in the community, WBTS-CD reported. In response to his alleged theft, the New Hampshire Department of Justice filed a complaint accusing Hobbs of violating the New Hampshire Civil Rights Act. A judge ruled that Hobbs's action constituted destruction of property and were motivated by the victim's support for members of the LGBTQ plus community and interfered with her right to engage in lawful expressive activity. These identity-based or bias-based behaviors and unlawful acts create a perception in the community that this may not be a safe place if you're a person who identifies as LGBTQ plus if these signs are getting torn down, said Senior Assistant New Hampshire Attorney General Sean Locke. The State Civil Rights Act allows for a maximum civil penalty of $5,000 for each violation, as well as a 3-year probationary period. A December court hearing will determine the penalties Hobbs will face. The state attorney general has requested a civil penalty and a restraining order preventing Hobbs from contacting his accuser. Meanwhile, in Pennsylvania, the Erie Times-News is reporting that the trial of a Sharon man charged with killing and dismembering a transgender teen has been moved again, this time to January. Deshaun Watkins, age 30, is charged with first-degree murder in the death of 14-year-old Pauly Likens Jr., whose body was found on June 25, 2024, around the Shenango River Lake, north of Sharon. Jury selection is scheduled to begin January 13th before Mercer County Common Pleas Judge Daniel P. Wallace. Previously, the trial had been scheduled for September. Plans call for the trial to be held in Mercer County, but that could potentially change, said Assistant Mercer County Public Defender Vincent Nudie, who is leading the defense. Nudie, who started his career in Erie County, working in both the district attorney's office and the public defender's office, said he had filed a motion seeking a change of venue, which could have moved the trial to another location where potential jurors were not as familiar with the case. The judge ruled against that request, but said the matter could be reconsidered if the situation changes. At least initially, national news interest in Pauly's death was fueled by several factors, including the age of the victim, dismemberment of the body, and the fact that Pauly identified as transgender. Right now, we are in a lull, Nudie said. As the case moves closer to trial, coverage could get ramped up, and the ability to get an impartial jury could come into question. In statements made to the police, Watkins said he met Pauly via Grindr and had what he described as consensual sex with her at a boat launch area in Sharon. But under Pennsylvania law, a person over the age of 18 cannot have consensual sex with someone who is 14. Security camera footage, some of which was presented at Watkins' 4-hour preliminary hearing in July 2024, seems likely to play a role at his trial. Other footage taken from the defendant's apartment building in Sharon shows him carrying what appears to be something in a black duffel bag. According to Mercer County Coroner John Libinati, who ruled the death a homicide, Pauly died of sharp force trauma to the head and neck. In addition to first-degree murder, Watkins was ordered to stand trial on charges of abuse of a corpse, aggravated assault, tampering with evidence, involuntary deviant sexual intercourse, and a general count of murder, which could allow a jury to convict him on a lesser murder charge. And that's the News Blast for this hour. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.